Hello, good day. It's April 13th, 2022. I'm Kurt, and this is my daily good life meditation, an exercise that I do to remind myself of my life objectives and principles. Check how I'm doing applying these yesterday, and to plan for today. Just not quite with it this morning. It seems like I'm on a roll now, and I cut myself pretty much every day now. Just not quite with it. And it's pretty much just in the morning. I can usually break into work after about, sometimes as little as 15 minutes. Once I start my day's work, and I start rolling, I start going, I'm usually in pretty good shape. But these hours from 5 a.m. till 7:30 when I start are a challenge. Less so than sometimes less so than others. Some days less so than others. Today, a bit of a challenge. I'm not so tired, I don't think. I just worn out from work. Just spent. I got a lot to do today. Okay, well, there's nothing to do but do it, right? I've still got people counting on me. Yesterday was a good day. A great day at work. Got a lot done. It didn't feel like I made a lot of forward progress yesterday, as much as just kept the. I bailed as much water out of the boat as came in. So we didn't sink at least, but I did. It was a good day in that capacity. Today's a day I need to fill the sails with fresh wind and move forward. So, okay, here's my 7 objectives. These are to always have my life in a situation where I can die, and I will have left things in as good a state as I can for my family, and to serve them. That means my relationships, and then to serve them, a legacy to leave behind. I call it my fortune, but it's hardly that. And then whatever words I want to leave behind, my books. That's done. I still gotta move the apathy to a new principle. Maybe I'll remind myself to do that today. After work or during lunch. Yeah, I won't have time during lunch, but after work maybe. Number 2 is to, second objective, is to make good use of my time, to not waste time. 3 is to develop good life principles, maintain them, fight against them. Next is to cultivate good emotional reactions, and then to perform good actions, and then to recognize my true limits and my true opportunity. And then finally, the last objective is to just do one thing at a time, and to do that thing slowly, basically to not multitask. Next is the 30 principles. Number 1 is to war against what I think is true, so that I can keep discovering where I'm wrong. Number 2 is the principle of reason, to use reason as my instrument of discovery in this war towards to discover what is true. And the sub-principles of honesty, objectivity, and skepticism, doubt. Number 3 is the homunculus, the reminder that though I do not have a soul, apparently, I do have a consciousness, and to always be working to remember that. Whew. Just, come on, coffee, kick in. Next comes the Anchorhold, the reminder that my soul, my consciousness resides alone, like on a rock in a sea. Then the home of good and evil, right and wrong, live within our heads. There's no right or wrong, unless there's someone to think and make it up. Right and wrong, good and evil do not pervade the universe. They pervade our minds. Can't stop bleeding. Next comes the principle of purpose. And my purpose is to be a good family man in that capacity, to raise our daughter to successful adulthood, to be a virtuous human being, where virtue is the pursuing the improvement of the well-being of thinking creatures. And then biology, virtue, and mission. Why do I feel like I'm repeating myself? I feel like I said this more in my book. Am I repeating myself? Okay, and next comes atomic principle. Everything is made of atoms. Principle of nature. All things in all of us have some particular nature. It's good to identify what that is and live with it accordingly. Maturity. No, the pirate ride. Pirate ride suggests that free will is an illusion. Maturity and the sub-principles of wisdom and fortitude. That's how I'm trying to improve and be. Social principle. We need each other. Public speaking. To be very careful about my communication, including my written communication, and to never gossip. And then comes temperance, and sub-principles of suffering and simplicity and apathy. Still there. Consume less, consume little. Then comes the horror show. Life is a horror show. I encountered a bit of that yesterday. Someone had abandoned Miko and I took the dogs to the dog park for lunch, and young man, youngish, 30-ish, stopped and greeted us. He stood outside the fence of the dog park and said he was a volunteer from a bunny rescue place, and they were cribs for critters, it's called, and they had a report of someone abandoning a bunny on the edge of the desert in that area, and he asked if we'd seen it. We hadn't, but we kept our eyes open, checking under bushes, etc., as we walked our dogs. And I went back there later after work and looked around to see if I could find any bunnies. Couldn't. But for all the terrible things happening in the world, that haunted me all yesterday and last night even. A little domestic bunny that some careless, thoughtless, gosh, who would do that? Person, dropped off in the edge of the desert, the howling wild, just on the edge. No food or water or safety from the predators out there, the coyotes. I hope that they found it. I'll look again later when I go by there again this afternoon, twice. I'll go by. I'll be looking every day for a while. Anyway, that's the horror show. The terrible things unfolding everywhere around us, including to us. And if they haven't happened to us yet, it's coming. It's good to remember that. To be a little more sober in life. and a little more sensitive and tentative in our consumption, a little more temperate as we try to find ways to make things better. Okay, the horror show. Then comes that which must be borne, which is largely the horror show, plus all of our responsibilities. Then comes the Feast of Offal, when we blow up our upset into the world and let them all have it. It's not a good or healthy or mature or a temperate thing to do. It doesn't really do much, but like a steam vent of emotion. So I try to avoid that, and I tried to avoid consuming the upset of others. And then comes, after that comes, what is it next? Distraction. We spend our lives distracting ourselves from things. We find all kinds of things that are good for that distraction. Our hobbies, our jobs, our religion, our beliefs, our politics, our sports, our families, our self-obsession, our obsession with others, charity. All these things keep us busily distracted, and so we don't have to see the awful emptiness of the universe beyond the pale of life, the great indifference, as I call it. Then comes best seat in the house, to not be wanting to be anyone else or be anywhere else or be doing anything else, but to be okay with who I am, where I am, and what I'm doing, all the while striving to improve. Then the Path of Wildness, it's a way forward into new life. And then the risk of avoiding risk, the deep and surface level risks of life. Sin and damnation, falsity, credulity, faith, superstition, dogma, and gossip. I got it. I took hope out. Hope belongs somewhere else. Sub-principle now of fun. Complete oblivion. No final reunion, no final reconciliation, and no final justice after death. We get just this one chance for all of those things, and more. Great life adventure, one or more experiences that form a centerpiece of our life. Tell our story, that make our story. Make us who we are, make us... They don't make us. They form the story that identifies us. Then the season of philosophy, a time to record the words that might come later, after we've had our adventure, after we become the man or woman that we want to be. The bullseye aim, striving and usually missing the mark. Sometimes hitting it, but usually not. The uphill climb, steady trudge upwards. The bullseye aim, striving for the mark, but usually, I did that one. Uphill climb, arena and utility. Life is an arena to utilize our principles in the pursuit of our objectives. Nothing is enough. Trying to do well with less. And then finally, the principle of fun and the sub-principles of, can I remember this? Hope and retrospect? Maybe retrospect, looking backwards. Looking forwards and looking backwards is as a sweet, delicious forecast of life and remembrance of life. Stripped and devoid of the messiness of now. Because the now is typically pretty messy. All right, there, I did it. I got through it this morning. I had to measure today from a 1 to 10 scale. Today's a 7 in terms of anticipation. I'm just worn out with work. There's a strange sound. I just noticed it. I wonder where it's coming from. Anyway, as for today, forecasting today, it's going to be an average day, although I've set myself some above average goals for work. So don't anticipate being ambushed by necessarily anything other than anything that might keep me from pursuing that goal. I'm going to complete my review of a contract and my extraction, of a project scope from that contract. No small feat. It's an 85-page, detailed, highly technical contract. I've been trying to work on it for a couple months now, and I've set myself a goal that I'm going to complete it this week. Wish you all the best. Be safe, but not too safe. Good luck with your day. Good endeavor with your day.